You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog balls confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nubs. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still life of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry armed women liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Key, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go better with Coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.
I'm talking about Shawty going crazy. People going crazy in them motherfuckers. Run that shit back, man.
But it's nothing. Nothing. About a woman all day. Man made the car. Carry the heavy load. Man made the electrolyte to take us out of the dark. Man made the boat for the water like the 7 Omega. Man thinks about a little bit of baby girl and a baby boy. Man make them happy because man make them joy. But after man make everything we can, do you know that man makes money? To buy from other men. This is a man's world.
We're going to be fact-checking on our live blog. It's all going to be happening, and we will be
Kamala Harris, Second Debate. Thank you.
Welcome to you both. It's wonderful to have you. It's an honor to have you both here tonight.
Good evening. We are looking forward to a spirited and thoughtful.
I want to begin tonight with the issue that voters repeatedly say is their number one issue, and that is the economy and the cost of living in this country.
Is their number one issue, and that is the economy and the cost of living in this country. Vice President Harris, you and President Trump were elected 4 years ago, and your opponent on the stage here tonight often asks his supporters, are you better off than you were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid. And I am actually the only person on this stage who has people of America. I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people. And that is why I imagine and have actually a plan to build what I call an opportunity economy. Because here's the thing, we know that housing is too expensive for far too many people. We know that young families need support to raise their children, and I intend on my mother raised my sister and me, but there was a woman who helped raise us. We call her our second mother. She was a small business owner. I love our small businesses deduction to start up small businesses, knowing they are part of the backbone of America's economy. My opponent, on the other hand, his plan is to do what he has done before, which is to provide a tax cut for billions to America's deficit. A 20% tax on everyday goods that you rely on to get through the month. Economists have said that Trump sales tax would actually result here because of his policies and his ideas about what should be the backs of middle-class people paying for tax cuts for
and also unions. Unions are going to be affected very soon. And you see what's happening. You see what's happening with towns in Colorado. They are taking over the towns. They're taking over buildings. They're going in violently. These are the people that Xi and Biden led into our country, and they're destroying our country. They're dangerous them out. We have to get them out fast. I created one of the greatest economies in the history of our country. I'll do it again and even better.
We are going to get to immigration and border security during this debate, but I would like to let Vice President Harris respond on the economy here.
Well, I would love to. Let's talk about what Donald Trump left us. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment since the
what separates us.
Sorry,
And I
y'all.
pledge
Damn,
to
internet,
be a
man.
president for all
My
Americans.
last goddamn nerve. I'm trying to buy something. Shit, keep kicking me out the damn studio.
The president who understands the importance of bringing us together, knowing we have so much more in common than what separates us.
A group of people that got together, they came up with some ideas, I guess. Some good stuff.
Americans.
President Trump will give you a minute here to respond.
To do with project taxes very substantially and create a great economy like I did before. We had an economy. We got 1917. We're and where the stock market was higher than it was before the pandemic came in. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We made ventilators, we thought positive things, jobs they got, and it went to their benefit, but I was the one that created them. They know it, and so does everybody else.
Vice President Harris, I'll let you respond.
So Donald Trump has no plan for you. And when you look at his economic plan, it's all about tax breaks for the richest people. I am offering what I describe as an opportunity economy, and the best economists in our country, if not the world, have reviewed our relative plans for the future of America. What Goldman Sachs has said is that Donald Trump's plan would make the economy worse. Mine would strengthen the economy. What the Wharton School has said is Donald Trump's plan would actually explode the deficit. 16 Nobel laureates have described his economic plan as something that would increase inflation and by the middle of next year would invite a recession. You just have to look at where we are and where we stand on the issues. And I'd invite you to know that Donald Trump actually has no plan for you because he is more interested in defending himself than he is in looking out for you.
It's just a soundbite. They gave her that to say. Look, I went to the Wharton School of Finance, and many of those professors, the top professors, think my plan is a brilliant plan. It's a great plan. It's a plan that's going to bring up our worth, our value as a country. It's going to make people want to be able to go and work and create jobs and create a lot of good, solid money for our country. And just to finish off, she doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan, and it's like 4 sentences, like run, spot, run. 4 sentences that are just, oh, we'll try and lower taxes. She doesn't have a plan. Take a look at her plan. She doesn't have a plan.
Mr. President, I do want to drill down on something you both brought up. The Vice President brought up your tariffs. You responded, and let's drill down on this, because your plan is what she calls is essentially a national sales tax. Your proposal calls for tariffs, as you pointed out here, on foreign imports across the board. You recently said that you might double your plan, imposing tariffs up to 20% on goods coming into this country. As you know, many economists say that with tariffs at that level, costs are then passed on to the consumer. Vice President Harris has argued it'll mean higher prices on gas, food, clothing, medication, arguing it costs the typical family nearly $4,000 a year. Do you believe Americans can afford higher prices because of tariffs?
They're not going to have higher prices. What's going to have, and who's going to have higher prices, is China and all of the countries that have been ripping us off for years. I was the only president ever. China was paying us hundreds of billions of dollars, and so were other countries. And, you know, if she doesn't like them, they should have gone out and they should have immediately cut the tariffs. But those tariffs are there 3.5 years now under their administration. We are going to take in billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. I had no inflation, virtually no inflation. They had the highest inflation perhaps in the history of our country, because I've never seen a worse period of time. People can't go out and buy cereal or bacon or eggs or anything else. The people of our country are absolutely dying with what they've done. They've destroyed the economy. And all you have to do is look at a poll. The polls say 80 and 85 and even 90% that the Trump economy was great, that their economy was terrible.
Vice President Harris, I do want to ask for your response, and you heard what the president said there, because the Biden administration did keep a number of the Trump tariffs in place. So how do you respond?
Well, let's be clear that the Trump administration resulted in a trade deficit, one of the highest we've ever seen in the history of America. He invited trade wars. You want to talk about his deal with China? What he ended up doing is, under Donald Trump's presidency, he ended up selling American chips to China to help them improve and modernize their military, basically sold us out, when a policy about China should be in making sure the United States of America wins the competition for the 21st century, which means focusing on the details of what that requires, focusing on relationships with our allies, focusing on investing in American-based technology so that we win the race on AI, on quantum computing, focusing on what we need to do to support America's workforce so that we don't end up having on the short end of the stick in terms of workers' rights. But what Donald Trump did, let's talk about this, with COVID, is he actually thanked President Xi for what he did during COVID. Look at his tweet. Thank you, President Xi, exclamation point, when we know that Xi was responsible for lacking and not giving us transparency about the origins of COVID.
President Trump, I'll let you respond.
First of all, like they have, and policies like they have. I don't say her because she has no policy. Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out. If she ever got elected, she'd change it, and it will be the end of our country. She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor in economics, And he taught her, you look at these millions and millions of people that are pouring into our country monthly, where it's, I believe, 21 million people, not the 15 that people say. And I think it's a lot higher than the 21. That's bigger than New York State pouring in. And just look at what they're doing to our country. They're criminals. Many of these people coming in are criminals. And that's bad for our economy, too. You know, you mentioned before, we'll talk about immigration later. Well, bad immigration is the
Oh my God. I'm trying to do this. Greetings, Sister Shida. What's down? No, I can't do nothing over here.
okay. And that's not okay with me, hence the vote. But what I did is something for 52 years. They've been trying to get Supreme Court justices. We were able to do that. Now, I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. I believe strongly in it. Ronald Reagan did also. 80. We're going to see. Look, this is an issue that's torn our country apart for 52 years. Every legal scholar wanted this issue to be brought back to the states where the people could vote. And that's what happened. And now, Ohio, the vote was somewhat liberal. Kansas, the vote was somewhat liberal, much more liberal than people would have thought. But each individual state is voting. It's the vote of the people now. It's not tied up in the federal government. I did a great service in doing it. It took courage to do it. And the Supreme Court had great courage in doing it. And I give tremendous credit to the 6 justices.
There is no state in this country where it is legal.
Sorry, my time. This damn connection is too fucking janky over here.
And Donald Trump certainly should not be telling a woman what to do with her body. I have talked with women around our country. You want to talk to Carrie a pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied care in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot. She didn't want that. Her husband didn't want that. A 12 or 13-year-old survivor of incest being forced to carry a pregnancy to term. They don't want that. And I pledged to you, when Congress passes a bill to put back in place the protections of Roe v. Wade, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law.
She's getting kicked out the studio, you know.
Close to it. So it's just talk. You know what it reminds me of when they said they're going to get student loans terminated, and it ended, I think probably her boss, if you call him a boss, he spends all his time on the beach. But look, her boss went out and said, we'll do it again. We'll do it a different way. And he went out, got rejected, taunted with this whole thing about this whole idea. And how unfair that is of people that had to pay off their student loans. They didn't get it for free. But they were saying it's the same way that they talked about that they talk about abortion.
But if I could just get a yes or no, because your running mate, J.D. Vance, has said that you would veto it if it did come to your desk.
Well, I didn't discuss it with J.D. In all fairness, J.D. And I don't mind if he has a certain view, but I think he was speaking of student loans. They didn't even come close to getting student loans. They taunted young people and a lot of other people that had loans. They can never get this approved. So it doesn't matter what she says about going to Congress. So wonderful. Let's go to Congress, do it. But the fact is that
Connection.
under Roe v.
Answer
Wade,
the question
you
with your
could,
veto.
you could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th month.
Not true.
And probably after birth. Just look at the former governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia said, we put the baby aside and then we determine what we want to do with the baby.
President Trump, thank you.
We're going to turn now to immigration and border security. We know it's an issue that's important to Republicans, Democrats, voters across the board in this country. Vice President Harris, you were tasked by President Biden with getting to the root causes of migration from Central America. We know that illegal border crossings reached a record high in the Biden administration. This past June, President Biden imposed tough new asylum restrictions. We know
Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress and said, kill the bill. And you know why? Because he'd prefer to run on a problem. And this comes at a time where the people of our country actually need a leader who engages in solutions, who actually addresses the problems at hand. But what we have in the former president is someone who would prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And I'll tell you something, he's going to talk about immigration to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. Also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you. You will not hear him talk about your needs, your dreams, and your desires. And I'll tell you, I believe you deserve.
Vice President Harris.
Oh my God, I'm sorry, y'all. They keep kicking me out the damn studio.
Country back. They want to make America great again. It's a very simple phrase, make America great again. She's destroying this country, and if she becomes president, this country doesn't have a chance of success. Not only success, will end up being Venezuela on steroids.
there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well,
All
I've seen
this,
from television.
let me say here, this is
The people say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
but
television.
The people are
I'm
on
taking it from
television
the city
saying
manager.
their dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice President Harris, I'll let you respond to the rest of what you've heard.
You talk about extreme. You know, this is, I think, one of the reasons why in this election, I actually have the endorsement of 200 Republicans who have formerly worked with President Bush, Mitt Romney, and John McCain, including the endorsement of former Vice President Dick Cheney and Congress member Liz Cheney. And if you want to really know the inside track on who the former president is, if he didn't make it clear already, just ask people who have worked with him. His former chief of staff, a 4-star general, has said he has contempt for the Constitution of the United States. His former national security advisor has said he is dangerous and unfit. His former Secretary of Defense has said the nation, the republic, would never survive another Trump term. And when we listen to this kind of rhetoric, when the issues that affect the American people are not being addressed, I think the choice is clear in this election.
President Trump, I'll give you a quick minute to respond.
Thank you, because that's kind of a person. I fired most of those people. Not so graciously. They did bad things or a bad job. I fired them. They never fired one person. They didn't fire anybody having to do with Afghanistan and the Taliban and the 13 people whose were just killed, viciously and violently killed. And I got to know the parents and the family. They didn't fire. They should have fired all those generals, all those top people, because that was a guy like Esper. He was no good. I fired him. So he writes a book. Another one writes a book, because with me, they can write books. With nobody else can they. But they have done
You say you would use the National Guard. You say if things get out of control, you'd have no problem using the U.S. military.
Police,
You also said you would use local police. How would you deport 11 million undocumented immigrants? I know you believe that number is much higher. Take us through this. What does this look like? Will authorities be going door to door in this country?
Yeah, it is much higher because of them. They allowed criminals, many, many millions of criminals. They allowed terrorists. They allowed common street criminals. They allowed people to come in, drug dealers to come into our country, and they're now in the United States and told by their countries like Venezuela, don't ever come back or we're going to kill you. Do you know that crime in Venezuela and crime in countries all over the world is way down? You know why? Because they've taken their criminals off the street and they've given them to her to put into our country. And this will be one of the greatest mistakes in history for them to allow. And I think they probably did it because they think they're going to get votes, but it's not worth it because they're destroying the fabric of our country by what they've done. There's never been anything done like this at all. They've destroyed the fabric of our country. Millions of people let in, and all over the world, crime is down all over the world except here. Crime here is up and through the roof, despite their fraudulent statements that they made. Crime in this country is through the roof. And we have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime. And it's happening at levels that nobody thought possible.
President Trump, as you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is actually coming down in this country. But Vice
Excuse
President
me,
Harris,
the FBI they were defrauding statements. They didn't include the worst cities. They didn't include the cities with the worst crime. It was a fraud, just like their number of 818,000 jobs that they said they created turned out to be a fraud.
President Trump, thank you. I'll let you respond, Vice President Harris.
Well, I think this is so rich coming from someone who has been prosecuted for national security crimes, economic crimes, election interference, has been found liable for sexual assault, and his next big court appearance is in November at his own criminal sentencing. And let's be clear where each person stands on the issue of what is important about respect for the rule of law and respect for law enforcement. The former vice president called for defunding federal law enforcement, 45,000 agents, get this, on the day after he was arraigned on 34 felony counts. So let's talk about what is important in this race. It is important that we move forward, that we turn the page on this same old tired rhetoric and address the needs of the American people, address what we need to do about the housing shortage, which I have a plan for, address what we must do to support our small businesses, address bringing down the price of groceries. But frankly, the American people are exhausted with this same old tired playbook.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
Excuse me. Every one of those cases was started by them against their political opponent. And I'm winning most of them, and I will win the rest on appeal. And you saw that with the decision that came down just recently from the Supreme Court. I'm winning most of them. But those are cases, it's called weaponization. Never happened in this country. They weaponized the Justice Department. Every one of those cases was involved with the DOJ, from Atlanta and Fani Willis to the Attorney General of New York and the DA in New York. Every one of those cases. And then they say, oh, he's a criminal. They're the ones that made them go after me. By the way, Joe Biden was found essentially guilty on the documents case. And what happened in my documents case? They said, oh, that's the toughest of them all. A complete and total victory. 2 months ago, it was thrown out. It's weaponization, and they used it, and it's never happened in this country. They used it to try and win an election. They're fake cases.
President Trump, thank you. A really quick response here, Vice President Harris, on this notion of weaponization of the Justice Department.
Well, let's talk about extreme and understand the context in which this election in 2024 is taking place. The United States Supreme Court recently ruled that the former president would essentially be immune from any misconduct if he were to enter the White House again. Understand, this is someone who has openly said he would terminate, I'm quoting, terminate the Constitution of the United States, that he would weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies. Someone who has openly expressed disdain for members of our military. Understand what it would mean if Donald Trump were back in the White House with no guardrails, because certainly we know now the court won't stop him. We know J.D. Vance is not going to stop him. It's up to the American people
Vice President
to stop
Harris,
him.
Thank you. Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president.
This is the one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized. I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy. I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy with a fake Russia investigation that went nowhere.
We have a lot to get to. Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president, you said you wanted to ban fracking. Now you don't. You wanted mandatory government buyback programs for assault weapons. Now your campaign says you don't. You supported decriminalizing border crossings. Now you're taking a harder line. I know you say that your values have not changed. So then why have so many of your policy positions changed?
So my values have not changed, and I'm going to discuss every one of the, at least every point that you've made. But in particular, let's talk about fracking because we're here in Pennsylvania. I made that very clear in 2020. I will not ban fracking. I have not banned fracking as Vice President of the United States. And in fact, I was the tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which opened new leases for fracking. My position is that we have got to invest in diverse sources of energy so we reduce our reliance on foreign oil. We have had the largest increase in domestic oil production in history because of an approach that recognizes that we cannot over-rely on foreign oil. As it relates to my values, let me tell you, I grew up a middle-class kid raised by a hardworking mother who worked and saved and was able to buy our first home when I was a teenager. The values I bring to the importance of home ownership, knowing not everybody got handed $400 million on a silver platter and then filed bankruptcy 6 times, is a value that I bring to my work to say we are going to work with the private sector and home builders to increase 3 million homes, increase by 3 million homes by the end of my first term. My work that is related to having a friend when I was in high school who was sexually assaulted by her stepfather. And my focus then on protecting women and children from violent crime is based on a value that is deeply grounded in the importance of standing up for those who are most vulnerable. My work that is about protecting Social Security and Medicare is based on long-standing work that I have done, protecting seniors from scams. My values have not changed. And what is important is that there is a president who actually brings values and a perspective that is about lifting people up and not beating people down and name calling. The true measure of the leader is the leader who actually understands the strength is not in beating people down, it's in lifting people up. I intend to be that president.
President Trump, your response?
First of all, I wasn't given $400 million. I wish I was. My father was a Brooklyn builder, Brooklyn, Queens, and a great father, and I learned a lot from him. But I was given a fraction of that, a tiny fraction, and I built it into many, many billions of dollars, many, many billions. And when people see it, they are even surprised. So we don't have to talk about that. Fracking, she's been against it for 12 years. Defund the police, she's been against that forever. She gave all that stuff up very wrongly, very horribly, and everybody's laughing at it, okay? They're all laughing at it. She gave up at least 12 and probably 14 or 15 different policies. Like, she was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out, wait a minute, I'm talking now, if you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar? She went out in Minnesota and wanted to let criminals that killed people, that burned down Minneapolis, she went out and raised money to get them out of jail. She did things that nobody would ever think of. Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison. This is a radical left liberal that would do this. She wants to confiscate your guns, and she will never allow fracking in Pennsylvania. If she won the election, fracking in Pennsylvania will end on day one. Just to finish, one thing so important in my opinion. So I got the oil business going like nobody has ever done before. When they took over, they got rid of it, started getting rid of it, and the prices were going up the roof. They immediately let these guys go to where they were. I would have been 5 times, 4 times, 5 times higher, because you're talking about 3.5 years ago. They got it up to where I was because they had no choice, because the prices of energy were quadrupling and doubling. You saw what happened to gasoline. So they said, let's go back to Trump. But if she won the election, the day after that election, they'll go back to destroying our country, and oil will be dead. Fossil fuel will be dead. We'll go back to windmills, and we'll go back to solar, where they need a whole desert to get some energy to come out. You ever see a solar plant? By the way, I'm a big fan of solar, but they take 400, 500 acres of desert
President
soil.
Trump, we have a
These
lot
are
of
not good
issues
things
that we
for the
have to get to.
environment that she
We're out of time.
understands.
Thank you.
Lindsay, thank you. We have an election in just 56 days. And I want to talk about the peaceful transfer of power, which, of course, we all know is a cornerstone of our democracy, and the role of a president in a moment of crisis. Mr. President, on January 6th, you told your supporters to march to the Capitol. You said you would be right there with them. The country and the world saw what played out at the Capitol that day, the officers coming under attack. Aides in the West Wing say you watched it unfold on television off the Oval Office. You did send out tweets, but it was more than 2 hours before you sent out that video message telling your supporters to go home. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day?
You just said a thing that isn't covered. peacefully and patriotically. I said during my speech, not later on. Peacefully and patriotically. And nobody on the other side was killed. Ashley Babbitt was shot by an out-of-control police officer that should have never, ever shot her. It's a disgrace. But we didn't do this group of people that have been treated so badly. I ask, what about all the people that are pouring into our country and killing people that she allowed to pour in? She was the border czar, remember that. She was the border czar. She doesn't want to be called the border czar because she's embarrassed by the border. In fact, she said at the beginning, oh, I'm surprised you're not talking about the border yet. That's because she knows what a bad job they've done. What about those people? When are they going to be prosecuted? When are these people from countries all over, not just South America, they're coming in from all over the world, David, all over the world. And crime rates are down all over the world because of it.
But let me just
when are those, David, when are those people going to be prosecuted? When are the people that burned down Minneapolis going to be prosecuted? Or in Seattle? They went into Seattle. They took over a big percentage of the city of Seattle. When are those people going to be prosecuted?
But let me just ask
you. You might ask her that question.
Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day? Yes or no?
I had nothing to do with that other than they asked me to make a speech. I showed up for a speech. I said, I think it's going to be big. I went to Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington, D.C., and the mayor put it back in writing, as you know. I said, you know, this is going to be a very big rally or whatever you want to call it. And again, it wasn't done by me. It was done by others. I said, I'd like to give you 10. Pelosi rejected me. It was just 2 weeks ago. Her daughter has a tape of her saying she is fully responsible for what happened. They want to get rid of that tape. It would have never happened if Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington did their job responsible. She didn't do her job.
The question was about you as president, not about former Speaker Pelosi. But I do want Vice President Harris to respond here.
I was at the Capitol on January 6th. I was the vice president-elect. I was also an acting senator. I was there. And on that day, the President of the United States incited a violent mob to attack our nation's capital, to desecrate there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And let's remember that when it came to the Proud Boys, militia, the president said, for everyone watching who remembers what January 6th was, I say we don't have to go back. Let's not go back. We're not going back. It's time to turn the page. And if that was a bridge too far for you, well, there is a place in our campaign for you to stand democracy out attacking the foundations of our this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking. Let's turn the page on this. Let's not go back. Let's chart a course for the future and not go backwards to the past.
Let me just follow up here.
Related to Laura Ingraham. covered it, the Capitol. Why are we allowing these millions of people to come through on the southern border? How come she's not? I would say we're down. Go down to D.C. and let her sign a bill to close up the border, because they have the right to do it. They don't need bills. They have the right to do it. The President of the United States, and you say, come on down to the office. Let's sign a bill. If he signs a bill that the border is closed, all he has to do is say it to the border patrol, who are phenomenal. If they do that, the border is closed.
Mr.
Those
President,
people are killing many people, unlike J6.
We talked immigration here tonight. I do want to focus on this next issue that we're living in. Mr. President, for 3.5 years after you lost the 2020 election, you repeatedly falsely claimed that you won, many times saying you won. You have said in 2020.
No, never thinking about an election is fraudulent. We need two things. We need walls. And we have to have it. We have to have borders.
Kicking me off. Doing my best to try to sing this for y'all. Is that shoot somebody?
perhaps we do not have in the candidate to my right the temperament or the ability to not be confused about fact.
That if he weren't in that debate, he'd be running instead of her. She got no votes. He got 14 million votes. What you did, you talk about a threat to democracy. He got 14 million votes, and they threw him out of office. And you know what? I'll give you a little secret. He hates her. He can't stand her.
That's true.
Who said there's not a deal in the making. President Biden has not been able to break through the stalemate. How would you do it?
Well, let's understand how we got here. On October 7, Hamas, a terrorist organization, slaughtered 1,200 Israelis. Many of them young people who were simply
Kamala, why aren't you doing that now? I'm sorry, Windows. What's this goddamn connection? I feel stupid over here.
She refused to be there because she was at a sorority party of hers. She wanted to go to the sorority party. She hates Israel. if she's president, I believe that Israel will not exist within 2 years from now. And I've been pretty good at
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm the one in the freaking studio, so if I get kicked out, y'all can't watch me. I don't know, everybody just gonna fucking MIA.
they were broke. Now they're a rich nation, and now what they're doing is they're spreading that money around
Supposed to be right now.
Middle East. This would have never happened. I will get that settled and fast, and I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended. If I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming president.
Vice President Harris, he says you hate Israel.
That's absolutely not true. He knows that he's trying to, again, divide and distract from the reality, which is, it is very well known that Donald Trump is weak and wrong on national security and foreign policy. It is well known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on day one, according to himself. It is well known that he said of Putin that he can do whatever the hell he wants and go into Ukraine. It was brilliant. It is well known he exchanged love letters with Kim Jong-un. And it is absolutely well known that these dictators and autocrats are rooting to be president again because they're so clear. They can manipulate you, flattery and favor. And that is why so many military leaders who you have worked with have told me it's why. And have a we
Connection. Look like a commercial. After we start to get clear time.
It was a regular day for 19-year-old Melissa Witt.
She went to meet her mom at a bowling church league, but she never makes it into the bowling alley.
New information: pools of blood were found by detectives.
I just love to have her back more than anything in the world.
It is a heart-wrenching day for the family of Melissa Witt.
Police found the body in the Ozark.
We had several suspects.
All these kinds of leads.
A known serial killer in your area. Could he be involved?
We're actually finding key evidence that could have slipped through the cracks. You're looking for that game-changing piece.
Her last hours on this earth were probably the most horrific a person can experience.
This beautiful young girl.
Police will find out
what happened.
At Wit's End, the hunt for a killer, only on Hulu.
Baywatch is a fantasy.
When you hear that theme song, it was a wild time, and I was a wild chick.
A bombshell.
Pamela Anderson was an icon.
I'm really proud of everything I've done. Almost.
Baywatch was a whirlwind of epic highs and bitter lows.
Everyone likes to watch sexy things.
Mozilla or something. What we doing?
My beast?
There's always a betrayal in the finale.
Other sausage brands use meat. That's just not good.
Sorry, y'all. It's damn connection.
That we must defend Ukraine from Russia, from Vladimir Putin, to defend their sovereignty, their democracy, that it's in America's best interest to do so, arguing that if Putin wins, he may be emboldened to move even further into other countries. You have said you would solve this war in 24 hours. You said so just before the break tonight.
Because we have to stop all of these human lives from being destroyed.
Shabaka.
Yeah.
I want to get your thoughts on.
I need you to hold it down in the studio. I gotta restart the computer because it keeps kicking me out the StreamYard.
Well, okay, that is part of their shenanigans. Okay, what have it. Okay. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you got this circus going on that I'm looking at right now. Okay. And that's just what it is. It's a circus, okay? You got an idiot on one side, and you got a bimbo on the other. Okay, so you're choosing between an idiot and a bimbo, okay? Me personally, I just hate to see this process go down the tubes the way it is, because after all, our people over the years, you know how one got killed for this, right, for this so-called vote. Okay, they're giving artificial intelligence too much power. Okay, so it's going to be computers, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be picking the president, as opposed to the general public. It's because when you go in there and cast those votes, okay, is your vote really being counted? Basically what it is that the general public has no way to see if their votes have been counted. You're going by what some individuals are telling you throughout the various states, telling you, well, you know, this vote got to this vote got to that, blah, 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 blah. This garbage that I'm looking at, ladies and gentlemen, is a circus, okay? You got the idiot on the left, you got the bimbo on the right, and this here pretty much look like a stage act off of a Hollywood movie set. Notice that they don't have no audience right there, you know, to get some feedback, you know, from a small sample of the general public. So all this here, ladies and gentlemen, is prepaid garbage. Okay, now the dump, as in human shit. And I want to make that perfectly clear, by the way. Okay, nice cuts on his suit. You know what I'm saying? The suit is every bit $25,000, $3,000, you know what I'm saying? Kamala Harris, you know, her pantsuits, they look like they're tailor-made as well, too. And then they talking about the middle class, the upper class. But they're not saying nothing about the lower class or the poor class or the homeless. You see what I mean? Okay. And so, like I said, this crap is a Hollywood movie studio. So I am going to go out and vote. Okay. But basically what it boils down to, ladies and gentlemen, what you've been having for the last few presidential elections, you're picking up the lesser of two evils, okay? And Brother Paris, you know, he's trying to get back into the studio. Sorry that I came in late. But basically, what's my concern is the passing of the great movie actor, stage actor, James Earl Jones. Mr. Jones was 93 years of age.
Yes, rest in power to him.
Everybody talks about, they remember him in a movie Claudine. They remember him in a movie called The Man. They're talking about him being remembered for being the voice of Mufasa in The Lion King. But one thing with America and its selective history of what it wants to go over, you're not mentioning the role that he had played as Jack Johnson. Well, actually, the title role was Jack Jefferson, but he was portraying Jack Johnson, and it was called The Great White Hope. And that fight between Jack Johnson and James A. Jeffries happened on the 4th of July, 1910. The writer Jack London had made derogatory comments about black people, saying that all darkies look alike. Okay, he said all coons look alike. And then he had also said, that James J. Jeffries is the Great White Hope. It's because James J. Jeffries retired undefeated as the heavyweight champ. So they went and got his fat, out of shape ass out of Burbank, California at that time. And they were saying, well, hey, Jeffries, you got to do it for the lodge. You got to come out of retirement. You got to put this nigga in his place. And Jack Johnson had beat Jeffries to a pulp, knocked him down. You know what I'm saying? And he worked him, and he worked him, and he worked him. And that was great. That was beautiful. That was outstanding. You see what I mean? Okay. And so, may he rest in power, Mr. Jones. Okay. And then, of course, we got this circus on right here live on ABC News that I think that our Denver studio is pulling up. But I'm looking at it on MSNBC. You know what I mean? So Donald Trump is pretty much expressing of how he honestly feels, of how white America honestly feels. Okay. And Kamala Harris, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, will lead the black community right straight down the toilet like these Democrats have been doing for the last 60 years that I know of. Build up our own businesses. Build up our own infrastructures. Okay. And then for the Yasa bosses, you're welcome to call in too, is because we were going to do this here on Blog Talk Radio. Okay, you could probably get with us on Friday morning on this. But we're doing this here on the StreamYard special edition of Shabaka'S Blacc Experience Enhanced Presidential Debate. Number 2, by the way, the dump, a.k.a. Trump and Currymala Aint Black Harris, a.k.a. Kamala Harris. Watch party, open panel. Okay. So,
can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you loud and clear.
And get this.
Yeah, this here, man, is a Saturday morning cartoon show. Okay.
Yeah, can you hear the video?
Yeah, actually, I'm looking at the debate on TV right now. Okay. And so I'm looking at this here. Neither one of these individuals mean us any good, but at least one thing about that orange dude, he's telling you how he's honestly feel. This broad, okay, I was doing an audition, man, like for the dating game, okay, on TV. The dump is telling you how he honestly feels. Kamala Harris is coming apart as a 2-bit actress, okay. In a Saturday morning cartoon show. Because neither one of these individuals have our interest at heart. I have not heard the word reparations. You see what I'm saying?
I ain't heard nothing about no damn reparations. I ain't heard nothing about black people. I ain't heard nothing.
Exactly. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? So once again, like I said, I'm gonna have to be on the couch. Is because at my age, man, looking at this crap for the last 60 years, man, I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of them, downplaying us. Okay. And since I'm a diasporic African, I have to deal with
about Taliban. You're talking about Afghanistan.
Yeah, right.
Ukraine, Israel, Palestine. Ain't heard nothing
about the continent.
Immigration.
Yes, sir. And then you're not hearing them saying nothing about the continent. So, of course, the hidden agenda there, once again, is like the Chinese, okay, like the French, Like the Americans going over there taking the silicon, going over there taking the tungsten, going over there taking the cobalt. You see, if it wasn't for Africa, this thing called the internet would not even be in existence. Say, and by the way, and I'm
really a lot of equipment behind.
Say that again.
When they left Afghanistan, they left a whole bunch of equipment.
Oh yeah, okay.
Worth.
Yeah, exactly. You see what I'm saying? And then, of course, you see that there could have been salvaged. You know, that material there could have been smelted, melted, recycled, and what have you. You see what I mean? Okay, see, so basically what you're going to have with each one of these idiots is a bunch of wasteful spending. They're not going to do nothing for us. And as you so well and as you so well put it, you know, in our introduction, you know,
This is the question. This is the question right here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then I just find it kind of interesting too that they're not doing this in front of an audience. You see what I mean? This stuff is staged, man. You know what I'm saying? This stuff is staged, you know. Yeah, look at it. You know. Okay, but the thing is, this idiot on the left is expressing how he honestly feels. The idiot on the right is coming up here with
Are you gonna say you're black, Kamala?
Am I gonna say what now?
I'm talking to Kamala. Is she gonna say she's black? Because this question is about.
Oh, wait a minute, Trump. Yeah, Trump is saying that now. Let's hear this.
The divide's been there, Kamala. What are you talking about?
Yeah, see, she diverted the question.
Are you black, Kamala? God damn it, are you black?
Exactly. Okay, now here she go. We shall overcome. Beat me upside my head some more. Good trouble as a nightstick. The nightstick lies gracefully upside my head.
That it was the Democrats that went in on them brothers. The dump put an ad out. The Democrats were in office at the time.
Right.
Quinn, the caucus. You know better than me, Shabaka, because you're older than me. But it was all Democrats that were going in on them brothers and got them hemmed up. Come to find out, it was a legal immigrant that did the shit in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. You see what I mean?
Yeah, 4 years later.
Yeah, exactly. You see what I mean? So therefore, once again, with us as a people, and this is what I keep saying within the black community.
Can you answer if you're black or not, Kamala? God damn.
Yeah.
All
it's
that
prepackaged nonsense. No, she's diverting it.
Hey, I'm a black woman.
Yeah. See, that's all she got to say.
Something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the irony is at the birthplace of the Black Panther Party. You know what I'm saying?
She just completely
didn't have a problem saying
she was black, and she just like went off somewhere else.
Yeah, you see, and then with her quote unquote allegedly being black and not representing black issues makes this woman extremely dangerous. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, Sheba.
Exactly.
God of destruction.
Yeah. And then this idiot that you have right here on the left.
Then Kamala is definitely Sheba.
And then, but the dude on the left, he is telling you how he honestly feel. Okay.
Yeah, but they don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear prepackaged bullshit.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. And what's happening is with me, Brother Che, after seeing this bullshit, man, you know, for the last 50 years, man, you know, you'll see what I'm talking about in 20 years, man, you lose tolerance for it. Because the reason why you lose tolerance, and the reason why
she is biting.
Yeah, exactly. Say, Yeah, you see what I mean? Okay, I just got okay.
Clearly, you're not a black woman.
Exactly. Okay, so the telemetry, man, I'm getting is about 20 seconds, man, after what we're seeing up here on the
Yeah,
live stream.
the TV. Well, my TV, I'm always ahead of everybody for some reason, but my
Okay.
TV is ahead of the stream, and then the stream is ahead of your TV.
Okay. All righty. Okay. Okay. All right. So you got a bimbo on the right, you got a crook on the left. I mean, so what do you choose from, people? So you got to choose a bimbo or you got to choose a crook. I
It's a
mean,
no-win situation.
yeah,
It's literally a no-win situation.
yeah,
Lose-lose
exactly.
situation, no matter how you go, no matter
Yeah,
how you look at it. Like,
yeah. So in
they
other
ain't
words,
still ain't
man,
mentioned black people one time. This broad was
exactly.
asked directly if she was black, and she just what is it called? Pivot her way out of it.
Yeah, right. And then, however, as I've stated before, when you look at the film called The Imitation of Life, her black ass will qualify for the auction block. You see what I'm saying? You know it.
So
I know her.
yes,
She
gorgeous
knows
broad. Hell no.
it. Huh?
You supposed
Okay,
to ski
now.
Lee and gorgeous broad? Fuck no.
Yeah, right, exactly. You see what I'm saying? I can't do it. You see what I'm saying?
She said
I
about
can't do it.
belittling and name calling. Y'all literally keep calling him a dictator.
Yeah, right.
Calling him a
Well, you
pimp.
know, yeah, well, you know who
Calling
Donald
him a
Duck called.
president.
Yeah, Donald Duck called her dad a Marxist. You know what I'm saying? Hmm.
She's a
And keep
damn
in mind,
hypocrite.
hmm and so is this idiot. They both are hypocrites, brother Che,
They
is
both
what I'm saying.
hypocrites, but
Yeah,
at least
he
the
said,
Trump is an honest hypocrite.
yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. At least he's an obvious hypocrite, and he's not denying his hypocrisy. But this woman is sitting up here talking about that we need to do everything to go out and vote for her, and then watch the interest rates goes up, watch rents go up, watch the price of
They're
food
doing
go
with
up.
the Obamacare, Shabaka.
Durable, yeah. Watch the price of durable goods goes up, such as cars, trucks, power tools. You see what I'm saying? Let me see what other type of durable goods you got. Furniture, things of that. And Obamacare was lousy health care. Now he's right about that.
He stole that from Romney
And,
too.
yeah,
He
exactly.
stole
And it
Obamacare
was
from
lousy
Romney.
health care. Yeah, it's because see, if you didn't sign up for the Obama health care, man, you know you was doing 2 years in prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you knew that you would be a convicted felon if you did not have the Obamacare plan. So I'm glad they scrubbed that. Obama, he didn't do nothing for the black community. Hey, man, you the president of the United States.
Yeah, they
You
try to
got
force
these
that shit on
multiple
people like
police
the Taylor.
killings.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then here also too, Mr. Obama, here murderous police are
Same
going
people
out here
that's
murdering
talking
our
about
people.
fascism and authoritarianism, and they're doing it now. They've been doing it
Yeah,
for the
exactly.
past 3-4 years.
Yeah, exactly. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. All right. And so then on top of it, why should we be sitting up here wasting our time, energy, and all that going to vote for either one of these? Do you have a plan to replace Obamacare? See there? Do you have a plan to
She
replace
has no
Obamacare?
plan.
Yeah. Okay. 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 Uh-huh. Yeah, he's pretty much wiping the floor with her.
Yeah.
I hate
And then she said, but she negated everything she said before.
Yeah. Yeah, she's getting mopped up, as they say.
Where can come from? Like, Kamala, what are you talking about? That has nothing to do with the question. Oh my God, Lord have mercy. I asked her about Obamacare. She goes into fracking. They're taking guns away.
Mm-hmm.
God, the hell with y'all, McCain.
Mm-hmm. Lady, you didn't do nothing as a senator. You didn't do nothing as a senator when you was a senator. You was just a senator in name only, that you only used as a springboard to run for president. You see?
You have no plan. Ain't that the pot calling the kettle black, Kamala? You have no plan.
Exactly. Okay. Okay, now you're quoting John McCain. And lady, you don't have no plan either. Your plan is a disaster, lady. Straight out. It's a disaster either way you go with either one of these.
Act. Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay these high ass premiums to even get freaking seen. Like, is this woman serious?
Yeah, exactly. You see? Exactly. You see? And so therefore, those out there in social media land, be sure to hit us with your hate mail.
Unless they pull that shit in 2020, you're not going to be president.
Well, so if I had to go in here into a casino, okay, and bet my last $5, I'd have to put it on a dump. I hate to say.
Yeah, the dump is mopping the floor with her. At least
Yeah.
damn questions. This broad is all over the damn place.
Exactly. You see. And then notice how the dump man, and see how he's like sitting there calculating his next moves. You see what I mean? You see how he's calculating it is right there. He's looking for weaknesses. He's looking for openings. You see, to attack.
Yeah.
Okay. But they really should have done this in front of an audience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Yeah.
Gotta wait 6 months for a damn operation on this shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That sound like that shit Jeff Fart was talking about with the Park Hill Golf Course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I passed by there the last time I was there in Denver, and they put all them apartments up over there, man, you know, by the golf course. You know what I mean?
No, they didn't. They were supposed to. Are you talking about the ones off of 40th? Yeah, they put those up.
I'm talking about where they used to have that old YMCA at over there, man.
Oh, yeah, off of Madison.
Yeah, where they had the old YMCA and they flipped it and turned it all into condominiums and stuff like that.
When you seen that shit, I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Some people was looking at me like, what the hell are you doing over here? Like, what the hell are y'all doing over here?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what's happening is, you know, you definitely got a schism, not a schism. Okay, but what it is though, black family, we got to be concerned about us, because she ain't gonna do nothing for you, man. These celebrities ain't gonna do nothing for you. You see what I mean? You know, with this ratchetness that they got going on, what they got going on out there, man, in Hollywood. You know what I mean? And whatnot. You see?
Now you want American-owned, American-made products. That's fraud all over the damn place, y'all.
Okay, well, see,
funny.
No, but what happens with American-made products is they got all these regulations on those industries, and that's why they keep jacking up the prices. You see, these bills. Yeah, see, these vehicles, number one, and the same thing with the internet technology. These are products that are designed to fail. You see, these are designed to fail. So when the consumer gets tired of buying the same thing again and again and again and again and again, and it goes up there to the economical factors, you know, for these companies and tech developers and what have you. Oh, well, we benefit the economy. We benefit the economy. So therefore, you are strangling the people, taking all their money to keep building up these products that come with planned obsolescence. You see what I mean? When you go up here, man, pay $25,000, $30,000 for a car, man, you shouldn't have to worry about not one expense on that vehicle for at least the next 7 years. You see what I mean? But it's designed to fall apart. It is designed to fail. But what they do, they lie to you, man. Truth is lies and lies truth. Now, when you got all the extra features,
actual truth, disinformation, and misinformation.
Oh, yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yeah, now your misinformation, man, is pretty much, man, where an idiot does not know what he's talking about. Like this clown up here wearing his suit, okay? Disinformation is designed to bump your head on purpose what the person on the right is telling you. You see what I'm saying? It's called getting your head bumped, as they used to say in Los Angeles. You see what I'm saying? You're getting your head bumped, you see? And then, of course, they got these sycophants who come out there like from Hollywood and all this old type of stuff. Vote blue no matter who, stay away from red, they'll make you dead. But you see, all of these individuals are in cahoots together. You see what I mean? Just like if you ever saw that movie with, what's his name? Not Kevin Hart, Chris Rock, when he was running for the president. I think
head of state.
Yeah, head of state. And then you remember when he was throwing everybody out, like what he did with Lynn Whitfield.
Yeah, security.
Yeah, and security just throws you out. And then his campaign manager goes over to the other campaign manager and sits up there and says, hey, well, let's have a drink. And for all practical purposes, they're saying that they two coins, they're two sides of the same coin. They didn't have the black community's interest at heart, okay? And so then Kevin Hart, became the president. And then, of course, as you know, what you're going to see in a few months when this garbage comes through, well, it all boils down to California. Okay, you would think, okay, that Kamala Harris has got California, in the bag. Wrong, because see, California generally goes ultra Republican, is because, like I said, that state will elect a Democratic governor, then they will elect a Republican lieutenant governor, and then the next presidential election, they will do the exact opposite. I've witnessed it 4 times in my life living in California. You see what I'm saying? Okay, you get the ratchetness of Hollywood making all the money, and then the general public of the state of California is becoming more and more broke. You see what I'm saying? Straight out. You see what I mean? And I'm making it a point to miss the Video Music Awards. I don't have time for ratchetness no more. You see what I mean? And then, they welcome to call up Friday morning, you know what I'm saying, when we do Grand Rising, you see what I mean? And it's just ridiculous, you know what I mean? It's ridiculous, man. It's out of its friggin' mind, you know what I'm saying? And then they got the children up here with the wearing rainbow colors and all this old type of stuff. It's next thing you know, it's going to be against the law for a man to like pussy.
Yep,
It's going to be. Hold it. They're going to give a man 5 years because he likes pussy. They're probably going to give him 6 months for saying the word pussy. You see what I'm saying? But then they're going to put up some confused individual with a 5 o'clock shadow shoving ketchup up his ass, talking about his menstruate. And a lot of women have told me in private conversations that there is an insult, repeat, a insult to the sanctity of womanhood. Now, out here in the great state of Nevada, they got this dude by the name of Sam the Scam Brown, who's running for office and can't trust him to be for you. And I think this fool is running for the Senate or whatever. But however, man, this is Sin City. Everybody knows what goes on here. But I just appreciate
running in Las Vegas, or he's running in Nevada?
He's running in Nevada. Yeah. I think he's running as a congressional one. Okay, and now they got
His name
Captain
is
Sam.
Sam Davis.
No, Sam Brown. Okay,
Oh,
CaptainSamBrown.com. You know what I mean? And
the military.
then and then here's YouTube up here doing advertisement on TV. Okay. Now we got Rachel Meadows up here. I think that's what her name is. Okay. I think
Okay,
they in
get the North
between
Racket.
rounds. Yeah, because I think they're in between rounds, man, with this prepackaged garbage. You know what I'm saying?
Respect
Presidential debate. Yeah, okay. So they from Mad Dr. D's hometown of Philadelphia.
Yep, they in Philly. City
Yeah,
of brother of love.
which is right across the river or waterway there from New Jersey. I believe it's Camden, New Jersey. Well, anyway, it's near the New Jersey Turnpike of where the Queen Mother was shot in 1973. Okay.
It looked like he got burnt up in the war.
Yeah, man, that there's from Mad Dr. D's hometown and birthplace. Okay. Now I'm looking at this prepackaged garbage, that this woman is coming up here with, and this is bad. Okay, we got any hate mail in the chat room? Any comments, or is everybody stuck to the boob too?
Everybody's stuck to the boob too.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna give it about 15 more minutes to before we close the show out.
Yeah, that's understandable.
And then see whatever feedback we get and whatnot. Yeah, this is crazy.
It's going over a record now. It's going over. She was the Attorney General, the DA.
Yeah.
I gotta mute it. I can't hear it.
Yeah. And now you talked about that you was an assistant DA. You're talking about when you was the DA, and you're talking about that you was a senator. Now you was talking about you was the U.S. The vice president, and lady, and you ain't did shit for black people in neither one of those offices. I mean, this woman is garbage.
Exactly. She's in office right now. Why has she done any other stuff?
Exactly. She's garbage, and this dude right here you got up right there is the dump, as in human shit. And I want to make that perfectly clear, by the way. Okay. And you see how dump looks like an orange raccoon right there for putting them goggles on and going off in a tanning machine. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I mean, this is just a sad choice. It really is. I much rather would have seen a repeat, man, of Richard Nixon and George McGovern. You know what I mean?
That was a good one, Shabaka.
Yeah. George McGovern lost every state. I mean, when you look at Forrest Gump, when you look at the movie Forrest Gump, okay, there's kind of a bit a loosely historical aspect of what was happening from 1965 to about 1980, I think, because I do know the time frame started in the late 50s when he was a little kid, and his mother had rented out the rooming house, had Elvis Presley right there, had the other people coming through there. I don't know if they had Jimi Hendrix come through there or not. That I don't know. Okay, but I forgot what they use when they talk about historical figures without using their name. And to me, the most funniest scene was when he goes see Richard Nixon when he got one of his declarations for Vietnam, And he wakes up in the middle of the night and calls the front desk and he says, "Hey man, I'm just calling to let you guys know, man, something is going on in this room over here. There's people over there with flashlights." And that there was the Watergate break-in, that he was mentioning. And then they did
Okay,
show,
where that work?
yeah, and then they went on to show Tricky, when the screws was getting to him, that, "Ladies and gentlemen, as of noon tomorrow, I will no longer be your president. The American people has a right to know if their president is a crook. I am not a crook." Now, if you're not seeing two crooks right now on this presentation tonight, okay, I don't know which way is up. Okay,
The dump gave her
so
that work though. I give the
yeah,
dump that he definitely gave her that work. She was all over the place. She couldn't stick to a damn question. She couldn't answer the correct
exactly.
question. And she was asked directly about her identity, her racial identity. She just kept it
And what did
right
she
out of
give
her.
you?
She is.
A bunch of prepackaged bullshit once again. You know what I'm
And she's
saying?
talking
Okay,
about
now
all
you
this shit
got
that she wants to
Rachel.
do, but you're in office right now. Why aren't you
Yeah,
doing
and
this
then
stuff right now?
you got these people here with Rachel Meadow on NBC. You got old Joy Reid up there who don't know which way is up. You got Rachel Meadow, who's a rhetorician. You got this dude with the glasses on over there to the left looking like Captain Beamington off of McHale's Navy, another idiot. The other dude on the far left right there, another idiot. Then you got Joy Reid, the rhetorician, Rachel Meadow. I mean, man, okay. I mean, I tell you
She's a
one
tether
thing.
too, Shabaka. She's a straight up
Who,
tether.
who's it? Okay, she's a tether. Where is she from, man?
She's from the Congo.
Oh, really? I didn't know George Reid was from the former nation of Zaire. Well, one thing I will say, one thing you got to give the Congo credit for, brother Jay. They did host the fight of the Rumble in the Jungle where the heavyweight champion did regain his crown that was wrongfully taken from him. You know what I'm saying? So, I will give the Congo its respect on that. You know what I'm saying? Okay, and then coming up is Elmer Fudd or Tim Wall. So I
Jill
call
Stein.
him.
Oh, let's see what Jill Stein's talking about. Jill
Oh,
Stein just
okay.
went on a response to this bullshit we just
Oh, okay.
watched.
Okay. All righty. Okay. And then we don't have nobody up here viewing us, okay, because everybody's stuck on this.
Home was acting stupid. Shabaka kept kicking me out the studio late.
Okay, well, sir. That's Silicon Valley, and it's bullshit, okay? It's because with these computers, man, this stuff is all geared up, and they giving us AI more and more and more leadway, man, is because now they got these new brand cell phones that I saw advertised here in Las Vegas talking about it's all on AI. See, so what's happening is, man, I would predict within a year from now, okay, AI is going to be running everything.
Can you see it, Shabaka?
Yeah, I see some people playing this piece, okay. Yeah, the triple P's, okay. And then I'm getting some telemetry right here over the internet, okay. And let's see here what's going on here. Okay, so we got a lot of telemetry too. Okay, a man here out of Chicago says that she's drunk. She keeps tasting her spit from hot shot she had. She's lying too. She had 3 years to do everything. She's saying she will do. I'll agree. Okay. And let me see here. And then okay, and it says that you got it where you mentioned me here. And, on Shabaka'S Blacc Experience Enhanced. Okay. All right, okay, and a stupid phone, once again, don't want to work. Okay. Okay, let's see here.
Can you hear
And
you hear Jill Stein?
oh yeah, okay. I don't hear. I can't hear Jill Stein.
Okay.
Okay, because basically what I'm looking at right now here is the feedback from the reporters here. Okay, and they say Harris and Trump go head to head in fierce battle. Let's see.
Okay, can you
Okay,
hear her now?
very, very lightly. And then also too, everybody knows that Madonna turned 65.
Who cares? I don't give a damn about Madonna.
Yeah, yeah,
Damn, they're
yeah,
chilling in there.
yeah. And then, and I'm just blocking somebody's
65. She
profile.
looks like she going on 85.
Okay, what's happening? What's happening in 85?
He says she's 65. She looks like she's going on 85.
Yeah, well, hard life. Yeah, Madonna looks like hell. Yeah. Yeah, because she used to be married to Sean Penn. You know what I mean? Okay, and then people's up here putting videos up on my wall. I'm gonna start blocking people, so I just wanted it to be known. Okay, if you all are putting videos up there on my wall without my permission, man, just go ahead and block me because
Shabaka,
that's the only thing.
you got to go into your settings and change it where they have to have your approval before they can put stuff on your wall.
Oh,
I told
okay.
you that
All right.
time and time again. But you got to go into
Okay.
your account settings and change that so
Okay.
you don't have those issues.
Oh, okay. All righty. Okay. All right. So we do that. Okay. So that's on the like page itself, right?
On the like page and your personal page. You should
Okay.
be able to do it on the like page too.
Okay.
You should be able to make it where all the posts have to be pre-approved or approved
Okay.
before they can be added to the like page.
Okay. All right. It is
If you can
because
add me as an admin or a moderator or something, I could do it myself. But you said that that's
okay.
not giving me the option of doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Because what's happening is on our like page, because I was researching that, man, is that you would have to control the like page to do that, but in the groups, I can make you an admin. You know what I'm saying? So what
Yeah,
I have to
I'm already an admin in the groups.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I had to go through the other groups to see where I'm an admin at. You see what I'm saying? I left a few of the groups is because one guy's gonna cuss me out real bad in a group. Oh man, you can't be putting your stuff up on here. And I just said, look, man, kick me up out the group because you constantly putting your crap up on my wall, man, and you're not reciprocating. You see what I mean? And and I'm glad that we're putting it out there because I want to be heard. If you don't want to reciprocate of showing our material, you see what I'm saying? Don't even bother add me to your page. Don't even bother putting in a friend request. You see what I mean? Because it's gonna get rejected straight out. Okay. And then also too, I am still researching about a public figure that you had mentioned to me that might have a troll account. And based on what you were saying, me and looking at it a little bit more, I think it is a troll. So I'm gonna delete and block that person until I speak to that person personally before I add them. Okay. Now they got Joy Reid up here.
Oh god.
Yeah, with
They
all
got
this
JD
makeup
Vance
on.
on my end.
Oh, you got JD, huh? Okay. All righty. Well, another crook, white supremacist, what have you, him in a dump. They stating how they honestly feel. And then what they're doing is they're putting all this division within the black community, to get us to go up here with this old daggone Kamala, you know what I'm saying? And Joy Reid, you really need to go to Hollywood and audition for the clown show or, or, or come here to Las Vegas. I mean, she is looking bad. And no disrespect to the sister, but she could look a hell of a lot better than what she is right now. You know what I mean? She really can. You know? Okay, and then she's sitting up there talking about, and I can't hear, and I cannot hear Jill Stein. People planted in peace, the triple P's. Okay, so I don't mean to be talking over her, but at least hopefully some people will get the message. But they doing this type of stuff to us because they don't like the truth and the message of what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Okay, and I got about 15 more minutes that I could last. Is
Well, we
because
got to do front run Black News about it in like an hour and 30 minutes.
no, okay, an hour and 30 minutes. Okay, righty. Okay, so if you do Frontline Black News an hour and 30 minutes, man, I could probably get in there, man, for about 45 minutes. Is because, like I said, I got to make a run with family members in a few hours. Okay. Yeah, that I spoke with you on the phone. Okay. All right. So, yeah. So what it is okay. Please set us up for Frontline Black News for our usual story, and then we try to share the link out there, man, and I try to get on there with you for at least an hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign off now to conserve this data card, that I'm operating on. Okay. All right. So it's always a pleasure. Okay. Oh, yes, sir. Thank you for having me. Okay. See you in about an hour or so. Okay. All right. Uh-huh.
All right, y'all, I'm going to end the stream. Thank y'all for tapping in. I apologize for the technical difficulties with the internet connection. But that was a complete shit show. And Kamala was all over the goddamn place. She couldn't even stick to the damn questions that were asked to her. She couldn't even answer if she was a black woman. But y'all want us to go out here and vote for this broad? Hell to the no. So it's Cornel West for the couch for me. I'm not voting for the jump either because he ain't saying nothing specifically what's going to do for black people either. I do agree with him on closing the border though, but that's about it. A buckle clock is right twice a day. So join us in about an hour. So for a redo, basically, or a continuation of part 3 of the Frontline Black News, season 4, episode 23. So I didn't get through all the topics from last night, and hopefully Lady Tay will be joining us, and Shabaka, West Coast correspondent as well. So peace, love, light, reparations, and separations of Black empowerment. Chan Krumah, Jesse Paris, Carl State House of Representative candidate on the ballot for District 8, number 3 on the ballot, as a matter of fact. Signing out from the Mile High Income City. Peace.